Me and my partner pick a bale of cotton now. Me and my partner pick a bale a day. I jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton now. Jump down, turn around, pick a bale a day.
Welcome to the Standing in This Place podcast. I'm Rachel Carter and I'm the artist behind this project, supported by National Lottery project grants through Heritage Lottery. I'm going to be telling the historic tale of the intertwining of the lives of women working in the textile mills of the industrial Midlands and the enslaved women working the cotton fields in the Americas. For this episode, we sent Lisa from MonOlisa Productions to talk with Louise Garvey. Born in 1941 in East Portland, Jamaica, she emigrated to the UK as a teenager to pursue a career in the health service. She is now one of our legacy makers here in Nottingham.
Came here when I was 16. So, yeah, but I'm still, I've got three places. Jamaica is where I'm born. England is where I grew up, and Preston is where I came to from Jamaica. So to me, I've got three ties. I'm from Portland, and the capital of Portland is Port Antonio. And the parish of Portland, it's next door to St. Thomas. So St. Thomas and Portland join together and borders. Hence, the port in Port Antonio, where the cattle start out from, then they're shipped across to St. Thomas to another port, disembark there because of the borders and the greenery and the hills, and that's why the cows are loaded and driven to the hills to be fattened up. My grandmother tells about her story about these cows, and it's about it's a ghostly thing, and it says at nights when you hear the cowboys and the whooping and the cow lash within, don't look out because you might not like what you see, because the ghost of the cowboys and the cows traveling to the mountain is on their way. Let's tell that story. I've written that in my book because Mummy tells about that.
Tell me about your great granny and also your granny.
I'll first tell you about my grandmother, Margaret Moody Smith. Her maiden name was Moody. She's the lady, I'm who I am today because of her. And one of the things I love about her when I was growing up, because she was tall and elegant anyway, and she always says, Louise, stand up, shoulders up, and walk. And all my life I've tried to do that and walk upright, And so from her, she tried to tell us something about her background, although, as you know, people from her era, they didn't like to talk or tell stories, but she always told the story about her great grandmother, I think it was. It's either grandmother or great grandmother, I'm not sure. And it's a story that I've told my children as well. And the name was, she called her Mama Tama, but she says her name was Tamazina.
Any sayings that your granny would say to you?
One of them that she really, really instilled in me, she says, Louise, always, always try and be as truthful and honest as you possibly can. And that is one of the things I've tried to live by.
And if Mama Tomo or your granny, Margaret Smith, walked by and could see that statue today, what do you think they would say?
I think both of them would look at it and they would shake their head in a knowing way and they would say, well done, well done. But there's a lot more to be done yet.
Do you think Mama Tomo and Margaret Smith, Granny Margaret Smith, would see themselves in that statue?
I know that my grandmother would certainly see herself in the statue. She really would.
Why?
It's about the stance, it's about the face, and it's about them knowing that people in general are going to be informed and people are going to become more aware about what has happened centuries ago.
The picking of cotton, those two women would have never met.
Mhm.
Tell me about what links those two women. So what links those two women for you?
Yeah, the links between the enslaved cotton picker and the cotton worker, the factory cotton worker. The connections are there, that these were people that were they were disadvantaged, they're used and abused. Sound a bit strong, but we do know in those days, for the cotton worker here in the Vale, they had a lot of hardship. And it goes without saying about the enslaved worker picking cotton in the Americas or wherever they were picking cotton. It was hardship for both those two women. So that's, to me, is where there's a connection and there's a joining. The cotton, of course, we know about the source and how it enriched people. But because of the cotton, traveling miles and miles and miles across seas and land and coming here, landing here in England and other parts of the world, this is how the cotton connection come about.
Because some people might say, well, those two women would never have met, so why have you got those two women embracing?
Well, you could say, all right. So you could say that this symbolism with the embracing, it's about actually fingers touching and picking the cotton. But at the same time, for me, it's about all that brought unity and togetherness.
What a wonderful interview there. And it was great to hear Louise talking about unity and togetherness. And that's some of the themes that our next young poet, Kit Bailey, has explored in Cotton to Cloth.
One plant, two stories, two countries, one industry, two into one, without which each other could not be. Cotton to cotton, thread to cloth, the small seeds float on a long journey. Grow to fruit and seed and picked, passed and boxed, shipped and opened, carded and spun, woven and sewn, then shipped away. Cotton grew and was spun, and the work of both yields the same result. Two sides of a coin are two sides of one. Black, white, cotton, cloth, both treated less by those in control, both full of hope, yet both pushed down. Two unknowing sisters, apart and unwhole. Rare bright threads woven in with service grey, patches of joy woven in with dreary days. Suffering and sacrifice, our shared past. Let us keep the scars, lest we forget.
Thank you so much to Kit, one of our young poets from Writing East Midlands, for sending that poem. I just love the way that you used the metaphor of the cotton seed to carry that story from the Americas and the cotton fields all the way into the cotton spinning mills in Britain and how it links those two female characters. So thank you so much, Kit. Well, that's all we've got time for today, and I do hope you'll join us again for another episode in the Standing in This Place podcast.
Me and my partner pick a bale of cotton now. Me and my partner pick a bale a day. I jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton now. Jump down, turn around, pick a bale a day.